You're watching the ACC Network Extra on ESPN. This afternoon, the quarterfinals of the ACC Women's Soccer Tournament features a top 10 clash between Duke and Florida State. And welcome inside Coskin Stadium. I'm Chris Edwards alongside Jason Gary, and we're delighted to have you with us. Jason, should be a great matchup between these two programs today.
Absolutely, two of the top programs in college soccer. They've battled it out over the years, both getting really close and winning some national championships. Great opportunity here today to get on a little bit of run in the ACC tournament.
This is the 29th all-time meeting between these two programs. The last meeting came here in Durham in 2017, and it was a 2-0 victory for the Blue Devils.
It sure was. A great performance by Duke. This last year, 2 years ago, we'll see here some of the players we're going to see here tonight. I believe that's Ella Stevens with the goal. Look at this finish with the left foot inside that far post. One of the all-timers for the Duke Blue Devils. See it here, Amani Dorsey. She had quite a game that night here against Florida State, following up on that, putting it in the back of the net. Good stuff, the last matchup here for the Blue Devils.
And as we mentioned, this is the ACC Women's Soccer Tournament quarterfinals this year. As we look at the bracket coming up around the ACC today, quarterfinal action. Winner of our contest gets the winner of Virginia and Louisville in the semifinals on Friday.
Yeah, a little bit unusual you see a matchup with Duke and Florida State this early on in the ACC tournament. But both of these teams seem to get a victory, get on a little bit of a run, try to get some hardware.
Let's talk about this matchup today extensively. When you look at the players to watch, especially for Florida State, it begins with the reigning offensive and defensive ACC players of the week.
Yeah, two spectacular players. Dana Castellano, she makes everything happen in the middle of the park and up top. Ton of goals of a Venezuelan national teamer. And then Natalia Cuica just anchors the back line. They've only given up 8 goals all season, so it should be a great matchup against Duke's offense.
Now, on the flip side for Duke, it's Taylor Rassiopi who gets them going offensively. 4 goals in her last 5 games.
Yeah, she's been on fire. She's so good technically. She's got the ability to break players down, beat them one-on-one, and she's getting into form here, scoring goals lately. Great sign for Duke here as they move into the tournament.
All right, we'll have first touch of today's contest coming up after this on ACC Network Extra. Beautiful day for soccer here in Durham. Duke and Florida State in the ACC Soccer Championship quarterfinal. Thanks for sticking with us as we take a look at the starting lineups for today's contest, Jason. And we'll begin with Florida State. You look at the back, and there's Bollinger, the keeper. She's going to be tested today by this Duke offense.
Yeah, absolutely. That back line, though, is pretty powerful with Cuica, Gabby Carl, Berkeley, all back there. Challenge for Duke. Can they break down that back line and get the ball behind Brooke Bollinger? She's been excellent in goal for Florida State.
On the flip side for Duke, as we look at their starting lineup for their head coach, Robbie Church, boy, he's got those 2 forwards up there, and they're really, really good for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, the top 4 there for the Duke Blue Devils, Mackenzie Pluck, Kayla McCoy, Taylor Rassiopi, and Ella Stevens. Big-time offensive talents. Can they break down the back line of Florida State? Should be a great matchup here today.
Duke's going to start with that 4-3-3 formation, and we are just about ready to go in the 29th meeting between Duke and FSU. Blue Devils breaking their huddle, and we'll have some final encouraging words for Brooke Heinsohn, the redshirt sophomore keeper out of Norfolk, Massachusetts. She's really someone that's continuing to work for this Blue Devil club and hopefully peaking in Coach Church's mind at the best time of the year right now.
Yeah, absolutely. She's getting more and more experience. She's been the go-to number 1 here all season long. Tremendous shot stopper, getting better with her feet as well.
And Duke with the first touch of the contest and kind of in that feeling out process now in the first few minutes of a game like this.
Yeah, absolutely. See what kind of style Florida State's going to play. Both of these teams like to pass the ball. They don't like to play a long ball type of game, so should be in for some good soccer here. See Duke early on kind of dropping off the line, letting Florida State come to them.
This speaks to the depth of the conference when you've got the number 9 team in the country, the number 5 team in the country playing in a quarterfinal matchup and a 2-7 game in the ACC tournament.
Yeah, it's pretty spectacular, actually.
Florida State into the offensive third. Seminoles into the box, and the Blue Devils there to clear that time. Nice job by Taylor Mitchell to get out of harm's way for the moment. Zhao for Florida State, member of the Chinese national team, as FSU now with maybe their first offensive look today.
Yeah, good stuff, good possession, not forcing the ball. Good early attacking play. There's their game changer there. Good play from Taylor Mitchell to steal there from Castellanos, but they got to know where she is at all times. Venezuelan international, just such a powerful goal scorer, assist maker. She makes it all happen there in the middle of the field.
Yeah, 33 career goals for Castellanos. That's 6 most in Florida State history, and she knows that her career is not done regardless of what happens today. Florida State certainly an NCAA tournament team and a team that you think can make a deep run.
Yeah, both of these teams, no doubt about it. NCAA tournament is in their future, but it's a chance to win a trophy here in the ACC tournament.
Here's Duke. Mackenzie Pluck. Into the box. Pluck. And batted down by FSU, but that'll result in a corner for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, great run from Mackenzie Pluck there. She was close to going down in the box. The Florida State defender had to be really careful, but what a run from Mackenzie Pluck. She loves to take players on one-on-one. Great job there, getting around the right back.
110 corner kicks for the Blue Devils this year. That's been a real big staple of their offense. And now a chance for this set piece just a couple minutes into the contest.
Yeah, Taylor Mitchell's wide open here on the back post.
Seminoles trying to clear. Pluck rifles one into the box. Headed, and Bollinger has to make the save.
Yeah, good save from Bollinger, but you see Kayla McCoy, that target forward, just popping up and a hopeful ball in the box, and she got her head on it, almost got it over the head here of Brooke Bollinger. Let's see here. Just a hopeful ball back in the box by Pluck. And look at Kayla McCoy just being a poacher. Gets in front of her defender, tries to loop that one to the far post. Good save in the end from Bollinger.
Obviously, everybody knows how dangerous McCoy is offensively. 10 goals, 27 points for the senior forward from Lincolnwood, Illinois. Florida State trying to clear one in, but Duke was right there to send it back out over that far touchline. Delaney Graham getting the start defensively, the freshman from Atlanta. Someone that's really played well since the start of ACC play in Robbie Church's mind.
Yeah, she's really good at going up and down that right-hand side. Depending on how the game goes, a lot of times when they're playing teams, when they're keeping possession, she becomes almost like a right forward.
There's Tillman. And a nice job by Burns to get it out of harm's way. Florida State retains the possession.
Good defending by Chelsea Burns there. We're talking about Delaney Graham there. I think in this game we're going to see a lot more of her playing back. Just respecting Florida State's offensive power.
Howell out wide. Pelasco, and that hopped over a foot. Blue Devils get the throw in. Still in that filling out process about 4 minutes into the contest. But each side has had some looks so far. Nice move that time by Ella Stevens. Duke into the center third now. Rassiopi fighting through defenders. And the first foul of the contest as Rassiopi goes down is quick to get up, though.
Yeah, she got fouled about 3 times on that play by multiple Florida State players, but you see her skill and her ability keeping that ball really well controlled. We'll see it here. There's one foul probably. Another one getting grabbed here. Finally, the referee calls a foul, but it's going to be a tight game. Both these teams can be physical, especially Florida State, man. They've got some players with some size and speed.
Good pass to Pluck. And Florida State gets it back. You talk about the physicality of both of these teams in a quarterfinal matchup like this as postseason begins for both of these clubs. How vital is it to have this kind of physical matchup, your first game in postseason play?
Yeah, it's huge, and both of these teams know how to be physical. But the margins are so much smaller when you get into postseason play. One mistake, one step, and you are out.
McCoy on the run there. She's offside. Kayla McCoy, preseason All-ACC selection. The Herman watch list. But she's had a fantastic senior campaign.
Yeah, she does so much work off the ball as well, and stuff that doesn't show up in the stat sheet. She's able to hold the ball. She wins fouls. She's just terrible to play against if you're a defender.
That's kind of been the staple of these Duke teams under Robbie Church. They always seem to have one or two players like that. That's just so tough for a defense.
Yeah, and you can keep her contained all game long. It just takes one chance, and she'll punish you, put it in the back of the net.
Kind of like Castellanos on the other side for Florida State.
That's exactly right. And Florida State's got to figure out a way to get her on the ball more. There we go.
Duke obviously wants to know where number 10 is. But now a little bit of a run here for the Seminoles. It's Lynch. Cleared. And now back into the middle third, perhaps, if Duke can get it out of harm's way. Now that we're 5-6 minutes, Jason, into this contest, what have you seen from these two teams so far? Obviously, probably what we all expected in the start of this contest, right?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great game. Just both teams want to play attractive attacking soccer. You see the game's pretty wide open. No team is sitting back and absorbing pressure.
Pluck trying to get to the edge. Nice job that time defensively by Howell to shield her off and not allow her to get upfield.
Yeah, you could tell this is going to be going on all game long. It's Gabby Carl there against Mackenzie Pluck. Both of them have won one of those battles so far, and I think they're just going to continue to go at it. Every time Mackenzie Pluck gets the ball, she's taking her own one-on-one. What do you want to see from your forward?
Hard to believe, though, that the number 9 team in the country, the 7 seed, Florida State, 5-4-1 in the ACC. But they have been so good for a long time. But even this year, you look at some of the games that they've lost, they've all been 1-0, 2-1 type contest. Florida State has been in every single game that they've played so far this season.
Yeah, and thinking about it, they've only given up 8 goals on the season. It's pretty spectacular.
When you lose 4 games and only give up 8 goals, it's a tough year.
Yeah.
Intercepted by the Seminoles. Now into the middle. Zhao. Run for Florida State. Nice job that time by Duke and Graham to bat it down and prevent the shot from Florida State.
Yeah, it was a good recovery from Graham there. Zhao, nice ball played outside.
Pavlisco had the opportunity there, but it was batted away, and now FSU will get the throw in. Long toss to that touch line, and now Duke will get a goal kick. Hadn't talked a lot about Brooke Heinsohn. We talked about her a little bit earlier as Florida State trots down after having a couple looks at it. There's McFarland in the center of your screen.
Yeah, Heinsohn, though, she's going to be asked to make some saves here today, without a doubt.
Two programs playing really well. Florida State lost their regular season finale at Miami 1-0, but won the previous 2 contests prior to that, but back-to-back shutouts over Pittsburgh and Virginia. And Duke may be the most consistent or hottest team in the ACC, winning 13 of their last 15 games.
Yeah, and they're rolling, especially the last month or so. Haven't really lost, and they're playing that ACC schedule where you can lose any one of those games, especially on the road, and they've just been in great form.
Enters the postseason on a 6-game winning streak. Nearly picked off there by McCoy in the center, but Florida State will now build the attack.
Yeah, you can hear the coaching staff down the sideline from Duke just imploring them to get higher up the field, higher pressure, push up. Boys offside.
Now there's the whistle. Boy, the Blue Devils frustrated a little bit there, thought they weren't going to call it.
Yeah, McCoy there, just a step. You could see her make the run. She thought Mackenzie Pluck was going to play it a step sooner, and her run just carried her into an offside position. I think she thinks Mackenzie Pluck's going to play the ball here right before that last play, and she is just a step offside. Good line there from Florida State.
And in a game like this where your margins are so thin, all those offside calls are going to be critical in a game like this.
Yeah, well, McCoy, she's got to run that right on the edge because she's got good speed but not spectacular speed. You saw Amani Dorsey last year. She can just run by her. She didn't have to worry about timing it. She could just beat everybody. Kayla McCoy, she's got to time it perfectly if she's going to make the special play, leave a defender in her wake there.
Another throw in here for Duke. Duke has already been called for a pair of offside here in the first 11 minutes of this matchup. Could not ask for a better day for this quarterfinal game in late October. Temperatures hovering into the low 60s. Perfect day.
Yeah, perfect. And the field is in excellent shape. Credit to the grounds crew. I mean, they've got this thing in tip-top shape for very end of October. It's a perfect surface to play on.
Duke now on their defensive end. On these throw-ins for Duke or for Florida State, on your defensive third of the field, do you expect to see both teams pressing like Florida State is all day long to try and gain that possession?
Yeah, absolutely. It's got to be a foul. Yeah, Caleb McCoy's been hit 3 or 4 times in the back there. Yeah, you're right. Anytime that ball's a deep throw-in, it's a good opportunity to win the ball in the attacking half of the field and try to make something happen without having to beat all 11 players for the other team.
Rassiopi has been quiet today. Not many touches so far in the early going. But so much you have to contend with on this Duke squad in terms of scorers and impact players.
And there's still 4, 5, 6 players on each team's bench that we'll see today that can have an impact. On Florida State, Coach Krikorian was really happy with the play of his bench players.
Yeah.
I mean, he's talked about it. You have a lot of these players, they come in to a program like Florida State or Duke for that matter, and they're the best player on their club team. They're the best player in the state they come from, and they come here. And you might not start.
Yeah.
You might not play as much as you think you're going to play. But say credit to his women. They've really taken that on, and whether they're starting or coming off the bench, they're ready to go.
Consider this for Florida State. You talk about their newcomers. Of their 36 goals that they've scored this year, newcomers have scored 11 of their 36. So making an immediate impact for the Seminoles as that one pinballed around and Duke will regain possession.
And you think about it, too, with international players, you may be the best player in your country and you come here to play and you're not starting.
Shows you how good and how much parity there is in the game of women's soccer and just all of soccer for that matter.
Yeah, it used to be just a domestic game, but now it's an international game at the college level at the top programs.
A little bit too far for Mackenzie Pluck to track that one down. Talk about another international star. There was Zhao, who's competed for the Shanghai Youth Women's National Team. Out of Shanghai, China, the freshman midfielder. 6 goals during her rookie campaign. Another one of those newcomers that has been phenomenal for the Seminoles this year. Hopped off the foot that time of Tillman. Zhao gets it back. Into the box. Settled. Well, neither side really gaining the edge as Florida State keeping possession here. Carl. Driven and a little bit wide.
Yeah, good possession there again from Florida State in the attacking third. No panic, didn't get the final ball in that they were looking for, but good close control, good tight passing, shifting the ball from one side of the field to the other.
Perhaps looking for Tillman there.
And good look at Christina Lynch there, just didn't quite get that thing on target. I think she was looking at the far post, no one really made a run. But reset here for the Seminoles.
Stevens trying for that 50-50 ball there. That was McCoy, beg your pardon. Now McDonald through 2 defenders. Great passing here by Duke. Stevens leads one. Now maybe a chance for Duke. Drives one that's headed away. What a play by Cuica. It's still loose. Duke trying to gain possession at the top of the box, but Florida State able to clear.
Yeah, great individual play by McDonald. And then in the end, Delaney Graham tried to cross that ball. A great spot from Cuica. That's why she's Defensive Player of the Week in the ACC.
Absolutely. Florida State trying to make a little run here. McFarland back for Tillman. Howell in the center with the nice pass that's off of a boot. And Florida State will have to build again. Flashes of some really good attacks for both teams today, and you know it's just going to take one.
That's right, and I think that's what the game's going to need it. I think a goal totally changes the complexion of this game for both teams.
Good battle there in the middle. And the foul called on Florida State. It was Zhao a little too aggressive that time.
Yeah, it's the second one. Kat McDonald has won individual battle against Yugi Zhao there. Or Zhao, excuse me.
McCoy couldn't get there, and Bollinger up to play it.
Yeah, Mitchell trying to find Kayla McCoy there. And two defenders draped around her, though. Good play from Bollinger out there at the top of her 18.
What have you seen defensively from both these teams so far, trying to limit the guys and players like Castellanos and McCoy and Stevens and Rassiopi, and the list goes on and on?
Yeah, for Florida State, they're basically putting two players on Kayla McCoy and saying somebody else has got to beat us. Both center backs are staying with the center forward. Should open some space. Players like Pluck here. That battle we were talking about earlier.
And the foul on Florida State. Pluck has taken a couple of fouls already in this first half.
Yeah, Carl and Gabby Carl, Mackenzie Pluck just going at it, shoulder to shoulder. And Gabby Carl saying, what did I do here?
It's a sophomore against a freshman, and that's going to be a fun battle to watch for the next few years.
Yeah,
in the
for
ACC.
years to come.
That's right. It's a Florida State team that was picked preseason to finish second in the ACC. It just shows you how thin the margin is in this league.
Yeah, for me, it's the top women's conference in the country. I mean,
absolutely.
Just, top 10, top 15, top 20 teams all over the place, and you can lose every single game you play in the ACC. It's not like that in a lot of other conferences.
And you look at teams that didn't qualify for this ACC tournament, like a team like North Carolina State, 10-6-3 on the year. They could be an NCAA tournament team and not even make their conference tournament.
That's right. And the majority of their losses will come in ACC play,
If 5 of their 6 losses were in league action,
Yep.
Look at it. A team like Wake Forest, 8 wins, Virginia Tech 9 wins. It's just each night, it's so crazy how competitive it is. Back to Bollinger, who chips one to the center of the field.
Yeah, I think for Duke offensively, they got to figure out a way to get number 17, Ella Stevens, on the ball more. She hasn't really touched it at all on the offensive side. Got to find a way to get her involved.
Zhao with a shot and scooped up nicely by Heinsohn.
And so it's credit to Florida State. Their center midfielders are not allowing her to get on the ball, but at some point, Ella Stevens got to go find it, get on the ball, and start creating.
To your point, Stevens is a facilitator. She's a creator. 10 assists this year, 27 career assists. Is she someone that Duke's going to look to try to get the offense through today?
Yeah, they have to. I mean, she's going to be the player that can spark them going forward. You got Kayla McCoy and Rassiopi. They're usually finishing those chances that are created by Ella Stevens. Stevens has the ability to score goals as well, but just so far in this game, Florida State's done a great job of just taking her out of it and denying her the ball.
Sent on ahead. Now to the near side of the field, it's Pluck. That battle continues. Pluck looking for an edge, and a nice job once again by Carl to knock it away.
You got to love it, though. You just got to love the battle. There's no one else is around them. There's no other player within 15 yards of them every time, and they're just going at it. Mackenzie Pluck, no thought to pass the ball. She wants to take her on every single time, and Gabby Carl holding her ground. It's good stuff.
Stevens ready to take the corner kick. It's the second corner of the contest for Duke. Driven into the 8. Settled. And McCoy trying to track it down.
Good ball.
It is. And nobody home. Oh, great pass by Stevens. Trying to facilitate there, but nobody home on that far post.
Yeah, she was. She was all alone on the far post. And I think she's shooting this ball and just doesn't quite get around on it. But what a great opportunity for Duke. We'll see it here. It's a long ball, kind of a hopeful ball, but great pick out there on the back post. And Ella Stevens, I think she's shooting it. It's a tight angle and ends up going right across the goal. No one there.
It's one of those chances you might look back on at the end of the game and say, man, wish we had that one back.
Yeah, maybe she puts it on frame or somebody just takes a chance, another player, and that's an easy tap in.
So Florida State able to get a reprieve or a little bit lucky there, and you need some of those in the postseason. Zhao fighting in the center for the Seminoles. Now back out to the center, Malia Berkeley. The redshirt sophomore helping to anchor things for Florida State. Duke unable to clear. Florida State's been in this attacking third for a little while now, trying to build something, but off the foot that time of Carl. Maybe a little bit too much mustard on that pass. Long throw in by Carl. A lot of contact and a foul.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity here for Florida State. They've got quite a bit of size here. It's a dangerous set piece. Good play there from McFarland, just holding the ball up. Got between. Yeah, I think it is a foul in the end there from Burns. McFarland using her body well. Let's see, they've got some targets back there on the far post.
Castellanos is going to take it. Goes short. Berkeley walking in, tried to center one there, but it was batted away, and Duke able to clear for the moment.
Yeah, Duke's got to do a little better job there of marking up because she was wide open.
Florida State wanting to go a little quicker now, wanting to be more the aggressor. Castellanos drives one, far post, headed to the middle, and in for the Seminoles. It's Kristen McFarland who puts Florida State on the board first.
Great play here from Florida State. This was excellent team play on the far post. Not sure it was on the far post who got their head on it. Might be Lynch, but then Kristen McFarland, point blank, 4 yards out. She's not going to miss that one. It was Lynch. Great header back across, and McFarland wide open, 4 yards out, and she buries it.
Her fifth goal of the season, and Florida State on the board at the 22-14 mark of this first half.
You got to love that. You score a goal, and you get a little break.
Yeah,
a little reward.
Great.
You get some water, some Gatorade. Well done there for McFarland. Just being a poacher. Right in the right spot, 6 yards out, and buries the header. It's a pretty even game, and I think Florida State does deserve that. They've been on the front foot. They've been going forward, getting players in the box, and it was off that free kick kind of that started that whole sequence.
You can almost go back and look at Duke's inability to be able to get the ball out of that attacking third, too. Had a couple chances to clear and couldn't do that.
Yeah, just poor clearances, and they end up paying for it. Now you see Duke, though, going with a little bit more of a high press here.
But this has sort of been the way things have gone for Duke the last several games. This is a club that has fallen behind early in contest and found a way to get themselves back in it and eventually win as the Seminoles are called for the offside there.
Yeah, that was a great ball. I think it was Gabby Carl that played that long ball and running onto it. Dallas DeRossi, I believe, just caught our ball in the hand. A little awkward bounce. She tried to take it down. It's trouble.
Florida State looking for that 2-goal edge, and Duke able to recover. Still trying to get it out of the attacking third. Rassiopi's been quiet today as the foul was spotted on Florida State. When you look at some of Duke's scores, Sands Notre Dame, where Duke came out, scored and won that contest 2-0 to close the regular season. Fell behind 1-0 to Boston College, 1-0 to Louisville. Fell behind Clemson, had to come back and win all three of those games in the second half. So not uncharted territory, but I'm sure for the Duke coaching staff, not something you want to do this time of year where you fall behind consistently.
Yeah, that's right, Coach Robbie Church. He's great. We've got those victories, but it makes it tough when you go behind.
And the level of competition going to step up a little bit too. Teams may take an early lead, and they're not going to relinquish that. They're not going to give you many opportunities to find your way to fight back in a game like that.
That's right. But Florida State has been really, really impressed with them. You can tell that's why they're a top 10 team.
Yep.
And looking at some of the losses they've had, they just got some firepower going forward, and we really haven't seen much, from our all-world player Castellanos. She's been okay, but we haven't really seen too much from her. But Kristen McFarland getting the goal, and Tillman's been involved. Zhao's been involved. It's been good stuff for Florida State.
Also the work that Carl has done defensively as well for the Seminoles today.
Great ball.
Tillman behind the defense and a sprawling save by Heinzen.
Yeah, what a ball. Duke just a little bit too open here on the defensive side. Ends up being a good save in the end from Brooke Heinzen, but Casey Tillman here comes in. This is one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Tries to go far post. Brooke Heinzen in the right spot.
You mentioned Duke being a little bit too open defensively. How do you want to see Duke correct that in the remainder of this first half?
Yeah, for me, the back four is too spread apart. There's too big of a gap between the center backs and the outside backs, and Florida State's doing a great job of exploiting that. Some good, strong running from their attacking players.
McCoy had that one batted down.
And right here, Duke's got to get tighter as soon as that ball turns over.
Missed header, perhaps. And it goes back to Heinzen, who's forced to play it. Duke still unable to clear here as Florida State still pressuring. Tillman fighting for it. A lot of contact, no whistle. As it comes out to McCoy in the center third. Sends one on for Pluck in a foot race. That's won by Carl.
Yeah, I think Mackenzie Pluck needs a little bit of a breather here. She's done a lot of running down this left-hand side.
Looks like Duke does have someone ready to check in down there at the substitution table. Looks like it's Tess Bodie.
And Bodie's an attacking player. You could see her coming in for one of those, front three. Kat McDonald's just been all over the place.
Zhao in the center. Duke swarming to the ball there and creating the turnover.
Yeah, that's better defending from Duke as a team. Multiple players getting around the Florida State player with the ball. Another giveaway there from Ella Stevens. Duke's just got to clean it up a little bit in possession as well.
A lot of action early. Both teams have had chances. Florida State, the only goal of the contest so far. And all the way back now to Bollinger, who will tee it up again. Duke pressing a little bit more of the full field now, trying to get that equalizer.
Yeah, and that's what's causing a lot of the space, the big gaps to happen. Plays into Florida State's counterattacking game here.
Castellanos in the center, looking for Tillman. Carl chips one in. And a nice job that time by Duke and Delaney Graham to shield off that offensive player for Florida State as Bodie does come in. And it looks like she's going to replace Ella Stevens.
Yeah, she's going to come and play in that attacking midfield role. Yeah, just not Ella Stevens' day so far. She's got to get on the sideline, talk a little bit, come back in, figure out a way to get her on the ball.
Sub for Florida State as well, Megan Connolly, a senior from Cork, Ireland, will come in for Yuji Zhao. Connolly was a second-team All-ACC selection back in 2016. That was the ACC Freshman of the Year in 2015. You talk about the firepower coming off the bench. How about that?
Florida State's got a little bit of depth.
Under 16 minutes to go here in the first half. Florida State leading by a goal. Does the mindset or the way that you attack, whether you're up a goal or down a goal, change in the final 15 minutes of a half?
You know, I don't think so. Not for Duke's standpoint. They just need to play better. I think they haven't had a good first half and they've gotten punished for it. But offensively, it just hasn't been good enough. Not enough possession, not enough support for me for Kayla McCoy. Up here, it's been kind of one person gets the ball, one person tries to do their best. We've seen the battle with Pluck, but no real combination play in the attacking third for the Duke Blue Devils. And credit Florida State; they've been excellent defensively.
Which is what we expected from Florida State, a team that's only given up 8 goals all season long.
Right. You see it here. See, it's Kayla McCoy, 1 versus 2. No one really close enough to support her when that ball gets played out.
Duke trying to pressure, trying to find a way to gain that possession there in that center third. Tillman again there to knock it away.
Yeah, great play by her. Yeah. She anticipated that pass, kind of baited Chelsea Burns into making it and then intercepted it.
Tillman's been really good for Florida State creating today.
Trouble.
Has another chance here as she walks in toward the top of the box. Florida State with a left-footed shot trying to go far post, but too high from Connolly.
Yeah, Megan Connolly, she was lining up, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was.
Shaped that thing to the far post. Just got underneath it a bit.
Take another look.
Yeah, we'll see it here. A good run from Tillman, just making a nuisance of herself. She's trying to shape this thing to the far post. It's the right idea, just got underneath it a bit.
Castellanos will depart for Florida State. Anna Patton will come in. Patton, a sophomore out of England. So Castellanos, the team's leader in terms of goal scoring this year, will take a breather. As Heinsohn ready to put it in play again. There you see Patton, 8 points this year, 3 goals. Not bad when you can have someone with 3, 4, 5 goals coming off the bench. Rassiopi now tries to turn and blast one, but it's batted down by the Seminoles, and right in the middle there's Tillman to help facilitate the offense. Nice run here for Florida State. Here's Conley, and tried to cross one that time, but nobody home.
Yeah, it was a good idea from Connolly. She just had to shape that ball a little bit more. If she puts a little bend on it with her right foot, I think it lands in the path of her strike partner up there, Dallas Dorsey. Just kind of scored it off the outside of her foot. And see right here, if she shapes this and puts some bend on it and gets a little bit of curve, might give Dorsey a chance to get to it on the far post, but instead it kind of spins off the inside of her foot and goes the opposite way. No chance for her to get there.
Nobody home there for Duke. Again, trying to perhaps find Rassiopi, but as you said earlier, Jason, no support right now for those attacking players for Duke. Pluck trying to create something on her own. And a nice job there by Florida State trying to get it out of harm's way.
Oh. Trouble. Clash of heads there.
And immediately calling for the trainers.
Yeah, that didn't look good. Both players just focused on the ball, and it was quite a collision there.
I think that's Howell that's down for Florida State.
Yeah, McCoy. Howell's going backwards. McCoy's coming forward, and boom. That's a tough one for both players. See immediately the referee stop and play. Let me see. Worry about concussions when that happens, but both players just focused on the ball. One coming backwards. That's usually how it happens. One player's going backwards, the other one's coming forward. You know, and just that clash of heads.
Nothing you can do to prevent that.
It's
playing the game hard.
Yeah, it's just difficult, right?
Well, Howell's up, and they're still checking out McCoy.
Yeah, good signs, both of them. Looks like they're up, feeling okay. Yep, Howell's back to her feet. McCoy as well. And it really didn't look like a foul on either one of them either, so it's going to be probably a drop ball here. Is there something interesting right there at the top of the box?
Almost like a free timeout, though, now for Duke. As we take another look at as McCoy walks to the bench, we'll take one more glance.
Yeah, we'll see it here. Ball's just floating up in the air. Howell's going backwards. McCoy's coming forwards. Boom. Kind of caught McCoy in the side of the head. I think a little bit worse for wear than Howell was coming back, kind of got her forehead. But it's like both players are going to be okay.
Well, like Howell was more the aggressor that time, trying to go for that header. And Duke will get a sub with McGuire coming in, Mary-Kate McGuire. Still checking out McCoy there on the sideline. Robbie Church still chatting with the lead official as Mary-Kate McGuire does enter for Duke.
Yeah, I think it's smart. And take Kayla McCoy off, get her a little bit of a rest. The head collision, Mary-Kate McGuire, similar type of player as Kayla McCoy, target forward, likes to get in behind, good at holding the ball.
Howe still wincing a little bit that she's going to stay in. Well, it was for the moment. Now starts to head toward the Florida State bench.
Yeah, see, they're going to make a sub here if she's going to come off for a second and get waved back on by the referee. And see how they handle this. Just a drop ball and put it up as a 50-50. There you go.
Let's go back to that a moment ago when the players did come off for a second. Robbie Church huddled his team around. What's the message from Robbie Church right now with your team down 1-0 and only one shot on goal so far?
Yeah, honestly, I just think he's got to implore them to play better. I just don't think they've had a good first half, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I think they're capable of much more. So just a little pep talk. Hey, let's get something going here. Let's start to play our Duke soccer where we're keeping possession, short passing, but too many giveaways like that in the middle of the field that the Florida State Seminoles, they've just been all over it. They've been alert, getting the second balls, the third balls, and not allowing Duke to get in any sort of a rhythm.
Settled for the moment. And now Duke trying to get something going. But another turnover. Again, it's Tillman right in the middle of the fray. Touched on. Florida State maybe another chance at a run here with Patton into the box. Tried to feed one there that was denied by Duke. And Duke able to clear it for the moment.
Yeah, unselfish play there by Patton, but I think she's got to strike it on goal. She's inside the 18-yard box. That was a bit of a tougher angle, but Tess Brooke Heinsohn put something on target. You may get a rebound.
Good triangle.
But again, it's that giveaway from Duke in the middle of the field and Florida State breaking with speed, multiple players getting involved.
1-1-1.
Turnover by Duke, one of the few mistakes for Florida State. Rassiopi couldn't locate. And now back to Pluck. Pinballs around some shins. 50-50 ball kept alive by Duke. McGuire to that touch line, and it'll be a goal kick for the Seminoles.
Great cover there by Jalen Howell. She came all the way across the field to clean up that mess, but challenges flying in all over the place.
Couple of subs, one for each team. McGuire is off, and McCoy back on. Didn't take her long to get back into the contest.
Yeah, and also being down a goal forces Duke. They've got to ride with their starters. They've got to ride with who he thinks is his best 11 at that time. You know, sometimes when Duke's playing really well and they get the lead, they can kind of rotate some players in and get some players some rest. But I think you're going to see the starters play the majority of minutes here until they can potentially get this thing tied up.
Lynch also came off for Florida State a moment ago as Burgow came in for Florida State. Burgow, a senior from Merritt Island, Florida. A couple of goals this year. Run here for Duke. Delaney Graham chips one in.
Ball.
And McCoy heads it just away. Another Seminole is down. And McCoy another good look at it, but couldn't finish.
Yeah, it was a great ball in. It's Malia Berkeley, I think, down for Florida State. It's a heck of a play by her. Yeah, good stuff here from Graham. Getting down, finally see her involved in the attack. And, yeah, that's a heck of a play by Malia Berkeley there on the back post with Kayla McCoy lurking right behind her. Look at this. She flicks that thing. That's so hard to do. Judge that in the air, flick it over the player. Excellent play by Berkeley there.
Remember the ACC all-freshman team in 2016? Missed all of last year due to an injury, and now back in better than ever in her redshirt sophomore campaign.
Yeah, that combination of Berkeley and Kuika in the center of the park is one of the top combinations of center backs in the country. I mean, they know each other really well and can tell, right? They've kind of had Kayla McCoy locked up. We've seen her, trying to poach around, but no real clear-cut chances for her so far. And that's what the job of the center back is to do.
Final 8 minutes of this first half. Florida State already with 6 shots in this first half, half of them coming on goal. In the center, Tillman again. Florida State retains it. Here's Conley with it. Tries to drive one past Heinsohn, who does a nice job making another save.
Yeah, well done from Heinsohn there, getting down quickly to her right. That ball took a little bit of a deflection, too, off a Duke defender's foot, and she did a great job getting down and making it happen. But you see how quickly Florida State can break out. And
that was just a couple passes there for Florida State.
3 passes, and boom, shot on goal.
Duke on that far touchline. Tries to send one in from McCoy, but again, it was Berkeley there to deny it. Mitchell there in the middle for Duke.
Well done. Oh, it's unlucky.
Yeah,
it was great little shimmy there from Tess Bodie. Used her body well, a little faint, just couldn't quite connect with Taylor Rasiopi there on the far side.
It's been that kind of half for Duke.
Yeah.
That play kind of encapsulates this entire first 45 so far for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, I think so. Just not able to connect those passes or enough passes. Too many giveaways. And here's where they need to get somebody out wide. There's not enough, not taking advantage of the space enough, Duke.
Another missed opportunity there for Duke. Berkeley in the center. Duke comes away with it. Far side, Graham maybe looking for some help.
Yeah, just another misfire there, just communication-wise.
Like Rasiopi might have slipped a little bit there too.
2 players just thinking different things there.
Lily Nabet in for Duke, the sophomore midfielder from Los Angeles. Rasiopi will get a breather. Obviously, Rasiopi, with how hot she's been in terms of scoring goals in the last several contests, you knew she was going to be a focal point, and she'll get a breather and a chance maybe to clear her head a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's smart from Coach Robbie Church is just give her a little breather, 5 minutes left in this half, get some rest in the halftime, and come out with a fresh Taylor Rasiopi in the second half because they're going to need her.
Trying to get it back to McCoy.
This is better from Duke, right? Keeping possession, great defensive. Oh.
Foul. And now Duke with a chance for this free kick.
Yeah, we saw this. What led to the Florida State goal, foul outside the box. Great spot to either have a strike on target or put a dangerous ball into the back post. It was Howell there who committed the foul.
So it'll be Pascal who will come over and take the free kick.
Yeah, Pascal got some good targets in there. Taylor Mitchell's come up from her center back spot for Duke. Kayla McCoy. And Chelsea Burns has got some height on the back post. No confusion here from Florida State on who's marking who.
Pascal puts it in play, deflected by the Seminoles, and Duke will get the throw in.
A little surprising there. Pascal went for power right into the wall.
Sort of telegraphed it a little bit there as well. Still time for Duke to build an attack. On the flip side, time for Florida State to build an attack too. We've seen how quickly they can score.
And Florida State's doing a good job here of managing the latter part of this first half. After getting that goal, they've been really good on the counter, created a few more chances. Really haven't given up too many dangerous opportunities for Duke. A few long balls, crosses in the box from the Blue Devils, but no clear-cut scoring opportunities.
A couple of offside calls on Duke in this first half as well. One that was pretty important offside call that negated a big run there for the Blue Devils. Toward the top of the box, Florida State sends it out. And Pascal backpedals, sends it to Heinsohn, who will try to build the attack for Duke. With to that point, been tough, as you mentioned, for Duke to build any sort of attack against a really good Florida State defense.
Yeah, they're good. They're well organized. Their midfielders are doing a good job covering space, not letting the Duke midfielders get on the ball and create.
When you play good defense, makes it easier for your offense. Florida State's outshot their opponents in 16 of their 18 games so far this year. Defense a big reason why.
It's a shot at Taylor Mitchell there. Foul committed on her. She thinks they can build an attack here. A few minutes left, plenty of time to create a great scoring opportunity. That's what Duke does if they push numbers forward.
Looking to get it into McCoy, and a little bit too long for her as Bollinger gobbles it up.
You'll see Bollinger here take her time a little bit.
Bollinger, a great story, redshirted last year, actually finished high school in 3 years, and then enrolled in Florida State.
Bit of an overachiever. I mean,
yeah,
that's
no
good
doubt.
Stuff, right? Most people want their high school years to last longer. She shortened them.
Yeah. let me get to Tallahassee.
Good for her. Just excellent goalkeeper.
And she has had a whale of a redshirt freshman season, 11th nationally with 9 shutouts. Her goal against average of .46 is 10th in the nation.
Yeah, that's good stuff. And she hasn't been asked to do a whole lot today, but she'll be tested here on this corner kick if Duke can get in good service. Taking down below 2 minutes here.
Pascal will come over and take the corner, the third of the first half for Duke.
You can see all 11 here. Florida State plays a zone. You can see them. They're not marking up. They don't mark individual players. They play a zone. See the 3 on the top of the 6-yard box. The rest scattered around the 18-yard box. But they will attack the ball as it comes in.
McCoy on the far post, headed out by the Seminoles. Duke trying to keep it in. Simmons in the center. This way for McDonald. Looking for McCoy. And Duke offside again.
Yeah, it's a third or fourth one on McCoy.
Yeah.
She's just got to watch it because, as you mentioned, you're not going to get a ton of opportunities against this Florida State team. You got to take advantage when you get that ball played in. Stay on side. Stay a step on side.
Final minute of this first half. Everything we thought today's contest would be between these two foes.
Yeah, we thought it'd be tight, right? We thought they would both play attractive soccer, and they have. Florida State, the upper hand on that one, got their goal, and they've been excellent for me in this first half. I think we're going to see a heck of a second half coming up here. I think Coach Robbie Church may have some few choice words with his team at halftime.
Going to try and motivate them for sure. Duke trying to clear with under half a minute to go. Headed in by the Seminoles. Duke trying to hurry, maybe looking for one last opportunity. As McCoy trying to settle and gain position. McDonald, and that may do it. Nabet with 3 and just sends one toward the goal, and that'll take us to the end of the first 45 minutes. Florida State, in terms of shots, dominates that first half with a 7-2 lead, and they'll take a 1-0 lead into the break.
Yeah, I think it's a well-deserved lead for Florida State. For Duke, it's get in the locker room. Let's just play better in the second half. Offense, I don't think that's a formation thing or an individual player. I think collectively as a group, they've just got to play better. And I think Coach Robbie Church will tell them that at halftime. But for Florida State, great first half for them on the road. Got their goal, and now they can kind of play in that counterattacking style and watch Duke push out and try to get the equalizer.
Florida State leading by a goal at the end of the first half. We'll have more from Coskin Stadium as our halftime coverage continues when you return to Durham on ACC Network Extra.